Hi, it's Larry the Llama here. How you doing? Since I talked to you about the whole Gaza tragedy, I've had a lot of friends onto me. Most sympathetic, some, less so. Oscar the Ostrich, he's a Republican. He says to me, how can you sympathize with these Hamas guys who fire rockets into Israel? Israel has a right to defend itself. Well, I ain't a big fan of Hamas. They're too Islamic for me, but that ain't the point. If Israel has a right to defend itself, why don't the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves? Cuts both ways, right? Whoever started the fight this time around, Israel has no right to kill thousands of civilians in the name of self-defense. 2,000 civilians were killed, including Kareem the Camel's cousin and his family. In Israel, 3 civilians were killed. 3 against 2,000. That ain't war, that's slaughter. Okay, says Oscar, but Israel is fighting for its very survival against people who want to see Israel wiped off the map. This is complicated, so I got Kareem to fill in a few details for us, which I found fascinating, I admit, because I'm not getting this side of things off of my TV. He explains to us that ever since Israel was established way back in 1948, the Israelis have just taken more and more land off of the Palestinians, which has now left them a patchwork quilt of unconnected pieces of territory in the West Bank and Gaza to live in, trapped in poverty and surrounded by Israeli army checkpoints and controls. So much so that now it's no longer viable, he says, for the Palestinians to get a country of their own. There's just not enough room left. Kareem says the only long-term solution is for the Israelis and the Palestinians to share the whole area, from the Mediterranean to the Jordan Valley, and live in peace all together in one country. Now, this wouldn't be a Jewish state, it would be a state for everybody. Jews, Muslims, Christians, non-believers, and even llamas and ostriches would happily coexist. Now, Kareem doesn't believe any of the Palestinian groups want to see Israeli Jews driven out of the area. All they want is for Jews and Arabs to live side by side, neither side lording it over the other. After all, way back 100 years or so, long before Israel was even thought of, Jews and Arabs lived together in that part of the world without being at each other's throats the whole time. This one country could still be called Israel, or Israel-Palestine. It's only a name. What matters is long-term peace and for people to stop killing each other. And what did Oscar say to all this? He didn't say a word. You know why? As usual, he just had his head in the sand.